This morning, welcoming everyone online, just knowing wherever you are, you know you're in the right, perfect place. You're at home, you're relaxed, you're tuning in to Visions live streaming. Thank you so much for being here. We've been talking all month long about the divine feminine, honoring the divine feminine in all, and that's this month's theme. And today's talk is check out those sprouts. Well, we started the month with tilling the soil, and then we moved to planting the seeds. Last week, Karen Buxman was here as your guest speaker, and she talked about the balance between the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, which leads us to today. The sprouts, of course. What results, right? I chose this month of the divine feminine to really talk in terms of the womb of nature. That's why seed, soil, plant. The earth brings forth new life, just as the female body brings forth new life. Seed, soil, plant. It is the divine creative process, as described by Dr. Ernest Holmes. It's also the divine feminine and the divine masculine interacting in harmony, one with the other. So the seed is planted. It is impregnated into the earth, right? The womb of nature, where it develops slowly, and then at some point, right, breaks ground, producing new life. Seed, soil, plant. That's what it's about. So we talked in the first week about tilling the soil. Right? That's preparing the mind, creating that fertile and receptive ground of being that can willingly accept the seed, the thought. And then we discussed planting the seed, knowing what it is we want to manifest, right? Not just willy-nilly, but knowing what seeds we want to manifest, which ones we want to grow. So having accomplished that, the tilling and the sowing of the right seeds for our desires, we give it time, right? We give it time. We water. We allow the sunshine to shine on the ground. We water. We give it sunshine. We water. We give it more sunshine. We water a little more. We are calm, right? We're calm. We practice the patience of the Buddha. We are peaceful. We are unconcerned. We are undisturbed. We are patient. Maybe. And maybe not. Right? Isn't that what happens during this time? Maybe we're digging the seed up every night to see if it's sprouted, to look for signs of growth, right? And someone, and I don't know who said this quote, it's anonymous, but someone said patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. So how do we stay positive during this time? How do we stay positive when for all appearances, it looks like nothing is happening? Because this really is the critical time. This is the time when people who come to a faith philosophy like ours fall away, right? Because they say, oh, this stuff doesn't work. I prayed at least a half hour now. Nothing's changed. Right? So the affirmations and the meditations and the affirmative prayers, that doesn't work because nothing's changed. Because we can't see the changes. We run out of patience, or we lose faith, or we go negative, or all three at the same time. Right? When God does not show up according to our timetable, we pitch the whole thing. This doesn't work. And sometimes, even if we claim we're being patient, right, we are not keeping that good attitude while waiting. We're doubting, we're fearing, we're back and forth, we're all over the place, we are on the fence, we're in fear and doubt and loathing, whatever. We're not keeping that good faith, right, that good attitude while we're waiting. You know how happy you are when the outcome is assured, right? Because you know it's going to happen. You absolutely know it's going to happen. That's the good attitude that we have to adopt when we're waiting. It's like Have you ever gone to a movie but you were too early and you saw the end of the movie that you were going to before you saw the beginning and the middle, right? You're there in the last, couple of minutes of the movie because you got there early and you see the end of the movie first and you know everything comes out okay, right? You know they all live happily ever after or whatever. You know it comes out fine even though you don't know the quote-unquote story, right? You don't know the beginning and you don't know the middle. You know it all comes out okay because you've seen the end. So now everybody comes into the movie theater for the screening, right, for the next screening, and you're sitting there the whole time watching the audience instead of the movie because you're watching them get all caught up in the story, in the drama and in the laughter and all in the tears and in all the upset, and you're knowing all the while it all comes out all right. I know it. I know how it comes out in the end, right? I know how it comes out in the end. So you can sit there comfortably while everybody else is in all of their emotions. This is the way we want to wait on our sprouts, as if we know the end of the movie already. We know how this comes out, right? And that goes even beyond faith. I would say that faith is even a step through this process. We eventually go beyond faith. That's wisdom, right? That's wisdom. It's sort of like the first time you came to Vision. I know you're not here today, but you know how you normally come to Vision. You just drive here, right? But the first time you found us, maybe you found us online, and you looked us up, and you clicked on the directions button, or maybe you have a GPS in your car, right? Or on your phone. And you followed the directions on how to get here because you didn't know how to get here because you'd never been here before. So to follow the directions and to on the GPS or on the website takes faith. You've never been here before. It takes faith to follow the directions. But then you got here. You got here. Yay, you found us. And you've been coming back every single week because, we're a loving, supportive, diverse community you fell in love with. So you come every week. Now, do you need faith to get you here every week? You don't need faith anymore. You have knowledge. You have wisdom. You already know how to get here. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, that wisdom that you absolutely know. That goes even beyond faith. And Ernest Holmes said this when he did a talk at the Ebell Theater. He said, "We are surrounded by the law of God, which is perfect, all creative, all impressionable, susceptible to the slightest vibration of our thought. We are surrounded by an infinite intelligence which can give us light and the law which is our servant. But we don't know it. Most of us don't believe it. Those who do believe it do not act upon their belief correctly. We become too easily discouraged. Great oaks from little acorns grow. Therefore, we must have patience to say with our own great naturalist, serenely, I fold my hands and wait. Let us live with the faith in the presence and the law of God." So we have to presume it's all coming out all right. We have to presume we've seen the end of that movie or we've read the end of the book, and it's our vibration. It is our vibration of knowing, like Ernest Holmes said, right? The slightest vibration of our thought. Our energetic vibrational frequency of excitement, of positive anticipation of good is the most important thing that we can practice, particularly now. Like you already know the end of the story, right? Like you already know the end of the story. George Seville said a man, we can just say a person, let's be gender neutral. A person who is the master of patience is the master of everything. So just breathe that in. What I know is that Spirit is always on time. Spirit is always on time. Never late, but very rarely early. Just the way it is. I don't know why. And when it looks like nothing is happening, that is the best time, the most rewarding time to practice instead of walking away from the practice. when it looks like nothing is happening, this is the time to increase your meditation, double down on your prayer work, really build your faith. And I'm going to go to Ernest Holmes' quote that I love, 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 and I've quoted it several times, but it's one of my all-time favorites. Ernest Holmes says, "Stay with the one and never deviate from it. Never leave it for a moment. Nothing else can equal the attitude. To desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we do not know the truth. When things look worst, that is the supreme moment to demonstrate to ourselves that there are no obstructions in the operation of truth. When things look the worst is the best time to work, the most satisfying time. The person who can throw himself with complete abandon into that limitless sea of receptivity, having cut loose from all apparent moorings, is the one who will always receive the greatest reward." How inspirational is that? I mean, how reassuring can that be? We are surrounded by this power and presence that absolutely responds to us from that vibrational standpoint. And we are so uplifted with that quote. We are so uplifted with the truth of this, surrounding ourselves with that truth. We know we are a living demonstration. And so when we do the work of preparation, when we are tilling the soil and planting the seeds of desire, when we have cared for our garden, we must wait in that sense of joyful anticipation of what is beneath the soil, of what is going on beneath our level of awareness, what is happening, what change is occurring that we are unaware of, knowing, not hoping, knowing that it is done in mind. And then one day we're just walking along, la, 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 just minding our own business, and what? Behold, right? The sprout breaks through the soil. Oh my gosh. The sprout breaks through the soil. The little green sprout pokes its head through the ground. So what if you're not planting a literal garden, right? What if you're not actually a farmer and planting literal seeds? What if you're planting and tilling and tending an idea? What if you're planting and tilling and tending a new work? A new business, a painting, perhaps, a piece of music, right? What then sprouts? What then sprouts, right? An idea, a way forward, a connection, a referral, someone who puts you in touch with someone else who is in a business that you're looking to get into, or whatever, a change, right? New growth, a new event that gets you closer to your goal. And what else comes along with the new sprouts of your highest intention, right? If you've ever tended a garden, you know. What comes along with those new sprouts of your highest intentions? Weeds. That's right, weeds. A weed, an undesirable thought, an old thought, maybe a fear thought, a thought of doubt, a thought of resistance. They come right along, don't they? In his book, This Thing Called You, Ernest Holmes has said this when it comes to weeds. Drop it out of your thought. Refuse to think of it. Refuse to feed it the fire of your imagination and feeling. Having nothing to live on, it will shrivel up and disappear. It is only the thought that is nourished that grows. It is only the thought that is nourished that grows. The weeds are no longer there when they are pulled up and the place where they were forgets that they have ever been. And that's our job. That is our job. Pull those weeds up. That's what we do with weeds, right? Whether literally or figuratively. We starve them of attention, of energy, and of feeling. And they dry, they shrivel up like a pulled weed in the noonday sun, right? We place all of our attention, all of our love, all of our energy, all of our feeling on our little sprouts that we desire, our little sprouts that are growing. We have tilled the soil. We've set those specific intentions. We've tended our garden. And now we're getting manifestations. Now we're getting those little sprouts. We have changed our thoughts. We're changing our lives one little plant at a time. So I want to leave you with this thought. What are those things that you used to say, maybe a couple of months ago? You know, if I only had the time to, I would whatever. What are those seeds? What are the seeds? Because you were too busy doing life. You were too busy working, going to school, doing what you were doing. Whatever that seed thought was, right, that you didn't have time to do because your life was so busy, I would suggest now is the time. I would suggest now is the time. Clean out that closet if that was on your list of things to do. Or throw those things away from your garage. Or start writing that book. Sit down and do your morning pages. Paint that picture. Compose that music. Because you know what? This will be over soon. This will be over soon enough. And we'll all be back to work, and we'll all be back to our routine, and we'll all be back to doing the things we're going to be doing. And I don't want you to say, I should have, when I had the time. I should have done those things that I wanted to do. So I invite you this week, do them, start them. You're home, you have the time. You have a little seed or several little seeds. Prepare your soil, plant them now. Start growing something new while you are at home and you have the time. Love to you all from my heart to yours. Thank you so much.